everything's against me and it's got me down. If I jumped in the river, I would probably drown. No matter how I struggle and strive, I'll never get out of this world alive. These shabby shoes I'm wearing all the time, they're full of holes and nails. Brother, if I stepped on a worn out dime, I bet a nickel I could tell you if it was heads or tails.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Who Goes There podcast, episode 18. Check it out, it's 18.
The barely legal episode.
We're barely legal. And we
sounds legal.
Well, yeah, you know, we're 7 hours legal officially. No, more than 7 hours, I'm an idiot.
Are we counting it from when we record it or when this actually gets posted? Because we might not be legal for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's true. We're really bad about posting episodes quickly. Sorry, that's my fault. As always, I'm Jorge, coming to you straight out of National City, California.
I'm Matt Chang Sing Smith.
And we have a very special guest for everybody tonight. We have half of Team Meat, creator of Binding of Isaac and other amazing indie games, star of Indie Game the Movie, Edmund McMillen.
Hello.
Yay.
Yay.
How are you, Edmund?
Straight out of Compton.
Straight out of Compton. Oh, that's right. You're in Santa Cruz. That's right.
That's nowhere near Compton.
But
It's
like,
basically Compton.
basically Compton.
If you've ever been here, you'll know man.
Isn't Oakland more Compton than Santa Cruz?
Yeah, they're all the same.
Aren't they though?
Oakland's actually more Compton than Compton at this point.
Yeah, no, Oakland's pretty bad these days.
Yeah. So the Who Goes There podcast has a little bit of a, I don't want to call it exactly a boner for the Binding of Isaac, but
that's why I was late getting here tonight. It's because of that damn game.
it's for myself and my wife. We started playing when she got pregnant about a year and a half ago, and then we ended up clocking like 700 hours between the two of us. So it sort of kind of was a nice thing for us to do while she was pregnant. It was really cool. So.
Well, I'm glad I could have been a part of that.
Yeah, it was excellent.
And then he told me about it on the show, actually, one of the first of many times we brought it up on the show. And as soon as I played it, my wife and I logged 800 hours on it too. And
I don't know how you did it, Edmund, but you've made
my wife's got you guys beat. Like, so she was the first playtester, and probably the first huge fan of the game, and she clocked in like 200 something hours before the game came out.
Jeez.
So.
All right. Well, honestly, I don't want to talk your ear off too much about Binding of Isaac because I'm sure you get it.
But do you ever really wonder how many times people curse your name just because of Binding of Isaac?
Those goddamn spiders.
I think they curse the game more than me. I mean,
You're damn.
I am not in control of the dice roll.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
I just put the probabilities down.
You guys are working on Eugenics right now. Is that correct?
Yeah. Tommy and I are working on Eugenics, and I'm working on the remake or rebirth of Binding of Isaac.
Sorry, go ahead.
With Tyrone Rodriguez.
Excellent.
Well, a whole team, really. I mean, he has a team of people. So for the first time ever, I'm actually kind of in the director's chair and
That's awesome.
telling people what to do. It's not as awesome as it seems.
Oh, okay.
I'm so used to, labor. Like, I like kind of doing busy work. I like drawing, and I like animating, and I like doing all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of weird for me. I feel like I'm, sitting on my hands, and I feel like I'm doing nothing. But it's fun to design, and it's fun to see other people kind of put their own spin on things, visually.
The new artwork is kind of how you wanted the initial direction to go anyways, right?
Yeah, it's basically what I couldn't do. I'm really not good with pixels, especially animating them. I just don't have the patience.
Right.
You got to be really patient to animate in pixels, man. I don't know how they do it, but... Oh yeah, we have a really good... Matt is the lead, the artistic lead, and he... it's been pretty interesting working with him, and there's been a lot of, just... throw away my work, please, because I can't stand looking at it, and just make it look better, please. Make it look better.
Jeez.
And, so far,
and that's fascinating to me too, because the artwork of the original is so iconic at this point. I mean,
yeah, and that's it though. And it's a funny situation that I've caught myself in where I can be as an artist, I know when something looks good and when something doesn't look good. And I can tell you right now, The Binding of Isaac is lazy visually. It is a game visually. I spent very little time on the art. I rushed every little bit of it. I was able to do all the art for that game in less than 2 months. It was so rushed, so lazy. Like, it was it was just seriously such a rush job.
Well, we appreciate your laziness.
It looks so muddy. It looks so like just so. I just like
you're shitting on our dreams, Edmund. We love this
People have
fucking
gotten
game.
so used to it. It's like saying Minecraft. Like the characters in Minecraft look good.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they don't, and neither does my work in The Binding of Isaac. It just doesn't. Like, it just doesn't look that good. But people have gotten used to it.
Well, we're excited. We whatever comes on that game, I'm sure we're gonna dump hundreds of hours into it again too. So
I'm sure you'll be coming on it soon.
Yay! How's production on Eugenics going?
It's going well. It is a mountain of a game that we've been trying to conquer. We, I think about like the 8-month or 9-month point in development, I was doing some research and I had found because it's hard to work on a game that doesn't have something that you can point to and be like, it's kind of like this. So what did they do right and what did they do wrong? Because it's kind of like an amalgamation of a bunch of simulation type games and kind of like these long-winded over time type games like Animal Crossing.
Oh, okay.
Or Nintendogs or whatever. And
so it's one of those games where you just have to do a bunch of work that you don't want to do in your everyday life.
You have to do a bunch of work and get rewarded for it. But it's kind of a different monster because you're dealing with this. The foundation of the game is these randomly generated simulated cats that all have different personalities. So like you're manipulating them and then breeding them, and it's kind of like a breeding simulation. It's kind of like an AI simulation.
Oh, dude, your wife is gonna love this.
She is. She's a big fan of Sims and Pokemon and.
But yeah, so I ended up looking up. I think it was like a Did You Know thing, and on Animal Crossing, and they were like, "Did you know that Animal Crossing was originally a combination of Nintendogs and Animal Crossing? It was called Cabbage, and it was done by Shigeru Miyamoto, the guy who did Earthbound, and the guy who did Pokemon." I'm like, what?
Wow.
Like how? And
that's a lot of muscle behind.
Yeah, I know, and I look it up because the like Nintendogs and Animal Crossing together is the closest I can come to comparing. Like say, okay, it's kind of like this with Eugenics, and I looked up what happened to the development, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't finish it, so they ended up splitting it into 2 different games and kind of fleshing out each. And that was kind of like the first sign of like, oh man, are we in for like a long development?
So you're basically mashing them back together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but then you do what Nintendo couldn't do, and you can just wave it in their faces.
yeah, that's just it's much harder than I'm not the type of person who's like, yeah, well, I'm two guys can do it. Like for the most part, 2 guys can do it. This is the first time where I'm like, I don't know. Like, this is pretty crazy. 2 guys can do it, but it's gonna take a while, and it's taken a little while, and it's gonna take a little while longer. But it's just.
I mean, you guys knocked it out of the park with Super Meat Boy, so I mean, I'm fully confident you'll be able to handle it.
Well, I'm sure we'll get it done, and I'm sure I'll like it. But I don't know. Who knows?
You seem like the type of guy who's never quite happy with the end result. Like you always want to improve.
I'm happy with Meat Boy. I'm happy with the end result. I can go back and play that.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, the art's not that great though.
See, look at you! Damn it!
It could be better. I mean, I've been working on Meat Boy stuff, and it looks better to me. I mean, I guess it's just the way it goes. Like you just get better over time, and it's hard to look at stuff that you've done in the past and be like. Like I can look at the level design of Super Meat Boy and be like, I'm very happy with that still. But everything else is kind of like I could probably do better.
All right, well, we'll take it. We'll take you at your word then, I suppose. Let's get to what we're really here for, is horror movies in general. So Harold Ramis passed away not too long ago, and this is the first podcast we've recorded since he passed away, and I just wanted to kind of have us chat a little bit about sort of his legacy, because I think that had it not been for Mr. Ramis and all of his movies, there'd be a lot less funny horror movies out there right now.
There'd be a lot less good movies out there.
That's true.
Right now.
I think with Ghostbusters we had, sort of a flash in the pan kind of moment where things happened, and we had Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, which was hilarious, and I don't know, it really bummed me out to find out that he passed away.
Well, yeah, Cody, the guy that was on 2 episodes ago from 3B Zine, he was talking about Ghostbusters on episode 16, I think, and how terrifying that was to him. And so many people have connected with that movie and just everything else he's done. Caddyshack is probably one of the most quoted movies in comedy history. And we really lost a great actor and director and everything.
Yeah, it's I don't know. What do you think, Edmund?
I mean, I've always been a big fan of all of his movies. I mean, like, I'm probably going to repeat what you guys talked about before, but like Ghostbusters for me as a kid, I was the kid with the Ghostbusters shirt when I was, 4? I think I was 4. I had a Ghostbusters shirt, and I loved it and wore it constantly until it would just, ripped apart or I outgrew it. But I had it on, when I finally got it on tape, you couldn't watch the first initial scare, the Librarian.
Yeah, the Librarian scene.
Because the rewind, I would rewind it so many times that it would just be garbled.
Oh, you wore out the tape.
I was like obsessed with that scare because it was so scary.
Yeah.
I only did that with Revenge of the Nerds.
I did it with Pee-wee, the large Marge scene.
See, you're kind of complete opposite from me. I would have fast forwarded through that as a little kid.
I was very interested in that. And it's funny too because I have a nephew now, and we showed him Ghostbusters. He's 4, and he was so interested in that scare that he wanted me to rewind it a few times so we could watch it again. It's kind of like this safety thing. Like, it's so frightening, but you feel secure about it, and you want to like re-experience, like, wait a minute, like, I'm feeling these. It was like my first initial scary movie scare where like I felt good afterwards because I felt safe, and I wanted to try to like recapture what's this feeling I'm feeling.
Yeah.
This woman who's eerie and then she's really scary. Like, it's such a startling transition.
It's an incredible
and it goes into comedy, and like it jumps right into like a secure, let's run out, and it's kind of goofily out of the
Totally.
But that's a huge moment for me. Overall, like, Ghostbusters was just a huge thing for me.
And it's a huge loss just in general as far as pop culture goes. I mean, losing a director and an actor of that caliber, it's always unfortunate.
When you hear they're actually talking about Ghostbusters 3 is still going to happen, without him.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't think I'm in favor of it, but you can't just shut it down.
Well,
I mean, so many people have wanted it.
Remakes and prequels on the podcast.
Yeah.
We're not fans for the most part.
Especially with this being like a kind of passing the torch kind of thing, where they're kind of. I've heard they're supposed to be basically training a new group of Ghostbusters so they can retire. So that would basically be a rebirth, if you will, of the franchise, and then it'll continue on.
Yeah.
So I don't know that you necessarily need Ramis that much to.
Yuck. Whatever.
I think anybody who's a fan of movies in general usually isn't a fan of remakes or late sequels. I don't think I mean, we've passed the 80s and the 90s, so movies aren't that good anymore, and like remakes of movies from that time are just not going to compare.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: have you seen Bates Motel?
No.
You've seen it, right, George?
I started watching the first season, but right now, to be perfectly honest, True Detective has my attention.
Really?
Yeah.
Too.
Holy
you
shit!
Too? I'm the only person in the world that hasn't seen True Detective.
You're a demon. You need to.
So, you know me. It'll be like 7 years, and the show will be over.
You're a fan of True Detective, Edmund.
Oh yeah. I was a fan of it when I heard it from my cousin's wife. Was like, oh my god, there's a show coming up, and I think you're gonna love it. It has really good actors in it, and supposedly it's really like. I think she just saw some clips or something, and she was like, the cinematography is fantastic, and the actors are really good, and I hear the writer's good. Right,
yeah. It's essentially like a serialized Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
It's dude, you've got to start watching it.
Well, there's already a serialized Silence of the Lambs. It's called Hannibal.
Whatever. Get out of here.
That also just started. Both of those shows just started this week. It's a really good time to be a fan of horror TV.
It's true, yeah.
I mean, you got Walking Dead and American Horror Story and Hannibal and Bates Motel and apparently True Detective, but I wouldn't know because apparently
I wouldn't even say True Detective is a horror movie. Well, it has horror elements.
Yeah, Yeah, it's pushing it.
Yeah, it's right there on the boundary. I don't want to spoil too much for my buddy here, but that is it episode 4 that has that infamous 6-minute tracking scene that's just bonkers. It's this one just tracking shot through this big giant firefight, and it's filmed impeccably. It's
that man. The whole show has just this bizarre rise and fall, this build and then drop and build and then drop. And it's just so the whole thing is fantastic. It's just so well done.
Yeah.
It's just well done. Every aspect of it is very well done.
And McConaughey's incredible.
What channel is this on?
This is on HBO.
HBO.
It's on the internet. It's
Yeah. No, it's legally through the internet.
Yes, because we have HBO Go subscriptions and we log in through our computers.
Yes. Yar.
Oh. Well, segueing like a brick through a window, speaking of things you can do on your computer, Dead Island, you like that? How was that? I'm going to get that Jesus out of you yet.
Yeah, you will.
So the game Dead Island, they're releasing a free online PC, or of course it's PC, but a free PC version that kind of looks like the old Smash TV game, but it's got all the features and perks of Dead Island with customizable weapons and all this other cool shit.
Interesting.
And it's totally free. So I thought we should tell
free.
people.
Free's good.
Yeah, especially free games about zombies.
Yeah.
I never played Dead Island.
Really?
Yeah, it was like when I think around the time it came out, it was like a little close to the Left 4 Dead time, and it was like I'd rather play Left 4 Dead. I just didn't hear that many great things.
Oh yeah, let's not be mistaken. Left 4 Dead is significantly better than Dead Island, but they're different styles of games, and I've only just played it because it became free on Xbox.
Free for gold,
the gold games.
What's that parkour zombie game that's coming out soon?
That's news to me.
That sounded like the most ridiculous thing, but yeah,
It does.
No, it's basically Left 4 Dead with parkour, where you can like run on top. It looks like
Mirror's Edge.
it's like Shantytown with zombies and parkour. That's basically it, and it looks ridiculous, but hey, it's zombies. What about zombies doesn't sell right now?
Nothing. Everything's zombies. No more zombies.
Let's kill zombies.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyways,
Terrible.
so we watched a movie.
Oh boy. A movie recommended to us by Edmund.
Yeah.
Edmund, have you seen this movie? Like, how many times have you seen this movie?
Technically just once.
Okay.
I saw it very recently. It was just like I think a week before you guys emailed me up. We had just watched it, and my wife and I have a projector, and we have a white ceiling, and we have a projector that's basically like faced up above the bed, and like to kind of relax, because I'm an insomniac, so I have a hard time sleeping unless I do something that doesn't involve what I do for a living.
Right.
Before I go to bed.
Yeah.
So we'll like watch a movie.
That seems oddly appropriate because this movie almost felt like a porno.
Yeah, no, it totally. I was wondering where it was going. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's talk. Let's give the movie that we watched.
So, the movie we watched is a 1983 flick called Boardinghouse. I'm so sorry, my computer shut down. I don't have like the director and shit in front of me, but I'll get it. So, I watched the movie first, and then I went back and reread one of the emails from Edmund and found out it was a passion project from a couple. Who,
yeah, the guy in the two leads. They're married.
So the dude and Victoria, right? The main girl, the actress girl.
Yeah.
Okay, so I watched it again today. I have a completely different opinion of it after watching it today, knowing.
You got to go in with the idea of like this was their like little fun dream thing, you know?
Of course it was the dream thing. That dude fucked almost every chick in that house.
That's the synopsis of the movie. When it started, like it had me from the very beginning. The guy fucking sits half naked, cross-legged on a desk, starts heavy breathing so he can levitate his like socks.
See, so you've skipped so much shit about this movie.
Okay, we'll get.
Can we start with the Splatterhouse style logo in the very beginning?
Oh, my
Oh, and the warning? The warning.
The warning. And we'll play that like right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a warning. To protect theater owners and the makers of this horror vision film, viewers with nerve or heart conditions are advised to cover their eyes and ears whenever this object appears on the screen or whenever this sound is heard. Thank you.
So that anybody who hasn't seen the movie can hear it.
Yeah,
I guess so. I did my homework a little bit on it after I saw it, because usually any kind of project like this, I'm like, oh my god, I need to know how this got made, why it got made, what's the story behind it, and I looked through all the special features and stuff, because they're on the DVD. There's like interviews with him now and stuff,
Right.
Because I guess like fans of them, it was like out of circulation for forever, and I think it was actually on VHS. It was like a recorded on VHS type movie
That's what it has that look.
Wait, so you have the actual DVD?
Yeah. I buy all my DVDs that I watch on the ceiling.
Did you watch the entire movie?
Oh yeah,
Like the entire 2.5, 3 hour version of the movie?
we watched the whole movie.
Oh my god! Because the movie there's
Wait,
two,
you know, there's a chance that the version that I have was a shorter version. It was a special edition. Like I might not have played the extended edition.
it might be a special feature because the movie itself is an hour and 38 minutes. They cut an entire hour out of the original finished product.
I definitely did not watch the extended version. It felt like movie size. It didn't feel long to me. So
Okay.
Well, it felt almost like 3 hours. Good lord.
That might explain why this movie was so fucking disjointed, though. Because
no, for sure. Like when I did my research too, it's like, I guess what happened is they made this movie, and when they got a publisher, the publisher chopped it up, which made it seem way crazier, I guess.
right,
So
they cut like an hour.
the movie, and they were the ones that put all that stuff in at the beginning to make it seem more horror-y. Like
Yeah, because there was that whole
it's like 70s, like even like late 60s campy. This is keep repeating to yourself, it's only a movie.
Well, yeah, but that was actually like kind of chilling. This was, hey, if you're a giant pussy and don't like the sight of blood, then whenever
away.
you see this hand flashing and you hear this wong, just cover your eyes.
Which was funny because you only ever saw the hand, I think, like once, maybe
I
twice.
think Twice.
But there was other scenes that had just a ton of blood and shit in it that didn't have the hand to warn you.
No warning at all.
I didn't want to see any blood, and that hand let me down.
Stupid hand. No, I mean the right from the get-go where they start doing like the chronology of the murders and the bullshit that's happened at the house, like 1979 murder house balls, we have 2 people dead. It's like, what is going on?
Okay, hold on a second. I pulled up the IMDb page. The tagline for this movie is "Where the rent won't kill you, but something else will."
That's incredible.
It goes without saying that this movie is a movie to be enjoyed for how, I mean, in quotes, horrible it is.
Ah,
Fuck. It is so out there. Like, it's so made by somebody who has a really good idea of what they wanted to do, but not really the skills to kind of pay the bills, but really was passionate about the project and really wanted to do a good job and did what he could to do it. Like, even in interviews, in an extended interview, they talk about it, and they were like, well, he was like, he wanted to talk about psychic phenomenon. Like, he was serious. Like, he did research on it, and he was passionate about it, and that's why it's in the movie, and all this other shit, too. And they really had a band. That was their band, and when the band that played
33 and a third.
Yeah, 33 and a third. Which was so weird too, because I remember them in the beginning of the movie, they're like, the band's coming over, and then everybody comes over, and then nobody plays. But then at the end of the movie, they play.
Yeah.
By the way, I've been listening to 33 and a third before they were cool. Like before they were in the movies.
Get out of here.
I got their shit on vinyl, their old school shit.
You actually have them on
I'll bring
33
it. I'll bring it
and a
over here. No. Oh, you dork.
You're so stupid.
So the dude's name that wrote, directed, and starred in was named John Wintergate, and his wife was Colossu K.
Okay, fantastic.
Colossu K.
Oh, before we get too far, so in the credits, was that the sound of a chick getting killed, or was she having sex?
Oh, I remember that. I don't.
Or am I the only one that heard this?
No, definitely. If that's what she sounds like when she's dying, then no wonder this fool is killing all these girls. He's
Lord.
getting off on it. He's like, hold on, don't die yet. I'm so close. Don't
die.
Up.
One of the things that I couldn't quite wrap my head around was the house haunted, or was it why did they introduce both the telekinetic part of it and also like the...
Yeah, I don't see how the house connects, but I'm assuming what they were trying to go for was that the girl... Are we spoiling the ending here? For all
it doesn't matter.
This movie's 31 years old.
Okay. Well, can I just at least sum up the awesome ending?
Yes, you can sum it up.
So you don't know who the killer is, and then you finally realize it's one of the girls that is still alive, of course, in the house.
Right.
And they defeat her by breathing.
Oh, that's right. They do the...
That's the mind bullets.
Yeah, they just sit there breathing, and then she dies in the most like lame way ever. It all takes place in a room full of
It was
smoke
like they threw water on her and
and
she
light.
melted.
Like there's a light on a smoke machine, and she's breathing. The bad girl who's like possessed or whatever. She's breathing at them, and then they breathe back at her, but they like breathe together.
That's why this whole thing is like a porno from the very beginning. I'm telling you, you take out the blood and you put in cum, and and you replace the shitty like 8-bit MIDI music with like shitty jazz music, and you've got yourself a porno.
Well, see, here's the one of the first things off the bat that I was questioning was when, and I don't know, maybe because we're in 2014 now and this just doesn't happen, but the nurse, or was she a nurse or a doctor or whatever, under her scrub, she's wearing like a full-on nightie. And it's like, why is she wearing that shit? And then the hand, the breathing hand, like has her take off her scrubs, and then she goes into her like underwear, nightie thing.
Okay, so we got a little ahead of ourselves.
Right? That was the beginning.
Yeah, I did. What?
Yeah.
Well, what you missed was there was the case file that was saying the people that originally owned the house, they were paranormal investigators. They were like highly skilled in their field, and then they were both found dead. And then their daughter testified and said that they commit suicide. And
so she was doing it the whole... I didn't even put that together.
Well, okay, since we're spoiling everything anyways, I think what happened was the parents were paranormal investigators, so there was a demon in the house. Maybe the demon possessed the girl to kill the parents. Then she was locked up in an insane asylum for, I don't know, like 8 years or something. Some other people bought the house. They died, which was fucking hilarious. That old man that
he
fell
just falls into the pool.
This old man is sitting in a little like lounge love seat next to his pool, and he just flails and falls in and drowns.
I gotta ask, Edmund, your recommendation on this movie, is this the type of horror movie that you generally enjoy, or is this sort of...
No, I really like bad movies, but I mean I like all movies. Like it's I'm kind of on a kick right now of I've been searching through a lot of old 80s bad movies, like independent type, really low budget movies, to trying to find these kind of like diamond in the rough, like just so disjointed and awful that it like breaks your brain. Like how did this happen? Like how the hell did this happen?
How did this get made?
Well, I was, in fact, I was watching it, and about like 30 minutes in, I was kind of taking notes on my phone, and my note here says, "What in the hell did you make us watch, Edmund?" Question mark, exclamation mark.
I wanted you guys to see something that you haven't seen before, and I didn't think you'd seen this.
So, when we were setting this up, we had suggested They Live to Edmund, because he said he was well versed in 80s horror, and we're like, okay, cool, we'll kind of give him a softball, you know? Like, we don't want to get anything a little too weird, and he's like, oh, that's cool, I'm a fan of They Live, but kind of want to do something weird, but this is
He
fucking
basically
weird.
said, you want to get nuts?
Yeah.
Let's get nuts.
Yeah, I couldn't just like pass up the challenge,
No.
but I gotta say, I honestly did like this movie.
Really?
It was just so weird, but it was everything I wanted in a horror movie. It was just buckets of blood. It was poorly acted. It had tons and tons of nudity in it.
That is right up your alley. I know.
Well, the whole premise of the premise of this part of the film is when the guy inherits the house somehow, he puts a fucking ad in the paper asking for scantily clad women to live in his house for like cheap or no rent.
Now hold on a second. Was it him or was it the demon voice? Because the ad when they were reading it was like, and we need scantily clad. Like,
I have the ad right here, and he's posted it several times because it says, "Oh, finally they got it right." But it says "girls, girls, girls," and you got to picture this dude is reading this in the creepiest, perviest voice.
The guy's fucking creepy looking.
Yeah, but he sounded like a demon. I don't know if his inner monologue is just that creepy and pervy, or if it's the house that made him place the ad.
It's got to be the house.
But
I thought he was like in the beginning, wasn't he? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna live it up. I inherited this house and I'm gonna like use it.
He did say this is gonna be a bachelor paradise.
Yeah, that's his goal. Like,
and by the way, that dude looked like fucking
a shit ton of scantily clad women around him at all times.
Yeah.
That dude looked like Sting if Sting sold coke in the 80s.
He totally did, dude. Sting from fucking
the police.
Well, no, obviously the police, asshole.
Well,
the fucking movie Dune, you clown.
The ad he posted was girls, girls, girls. If you're between 18 and 25, unattached and beautiful, I want you to share my 10-bedroom house with me for $100. Call old Jim, the boarding house.
And so I guess the goal of because it seemed like they were all actresses or.
You never really know.
Some of them had auditions that they like were catty about. Yeah. I had no fucking idea why they were there other than cheap rent.
They were all just kind of like the Breakfast Club of just sluts. Because they had the slutty girl, then they had the geeky girl, and then they had the tall black girl, and then they had
the foreigner.
Yeah, the foreigner and the lazy girl, and there was one of all of them.
I gotta say,
they definitely switched in girls too, because there was the really tall Amazon S&M blonde girl with all the leather on.
Yeah,
yes.
Who was like she appeared once in the beginning
and then totally disappeared,
and then again at the party. Like they switched out a lot of girls that just came and went. And they didn't die or anything. They were just kind of there. They'd have a few.
You know why that was? So the director could rub up naked against more girls.
The thing is though, he didn't even like. What I was surprised, so he gets all these women in his house, and he really doesn't really just start having sex with them. He only has sex with like 2.
Yeah.
But he gets naked with a bunch of them.
Well, I know, he does get naked with a few of them.
Yeah, he may only, like, squax 2 of them. But he got naked and rubbed on a lot of them.
Yeah, he was not shy about rubbing his penis on anything.
I'm sure there was probably a like coming out of the 70s swinger type situation with him and his wife, and they're like, we're making a movie.
This is a great idea.
That's all the more reason why I think this was supposed to be a porno. I think maybe the hour that they cut was the actual penetration because somebody got cold feet about it. So they're like, let's just throw in some blood and some reshoots and change the music a bit.
Did there's a scene about maybe 2/3 of the way through where the main character chick, she's in her bed and at some point like a skeleton hand tries to like abduct her.
That's the cover of the movie.
So okay,
right there.
That from about a minute after that, was it completely dark to you in your copy? Like
yes,
black, like you couldn't see what was going on?
Oh, I don't think so. I remember that part. She's running through a graveyard, right?
Yeah, and I couldn't see shit in our copy.
There was parts that were very dark. I mean, you could see it. I mean, maybe
I'm pretty sure it was kind of remastered for the special edition, like DVD release, the first time on DVD.
We got an OG copy. We got.
You might have got like a VHS rip or whatever.
We got the goods.
It did have like weird tracking stuff.
Oh my god, did it ever?
And then you must have got the rough cut.
See, and this this film actually has, it's in film history. This is the first film that was shot on not 35 millimeter, but like handheld VHS camera, and transferred to 35 millimeter. This was the first one that was actually doing that.
Wow, I'm impressed.
You know, and
just so you guys know, I could have recommended the movie I saw after this is a really bad movie, like not bad like this, but bad like unwatchably bad.
Oh gosh,
Axum.
Axum.
Yeah, it's like
As in axe them.
Kind of like axe them, but also kind of a play on an urban slang of axe me something.
oh shit.
It's a urban movie.
It's like Leprechaun in the Hood.
But it was not like that, like, because it's more like, it starts out in like a black college, and it seems kind of like a different world. Remember that TV show, Different World?
No.
Oh, it's a black TV show.
Okay.
They went there is a college. It's a black college. Anyway, it was kind of like a black college situation. They're doing like stomp the ground type stuff, and then it like cuts to this really bizarrely, like it looked like half of the movie is filmed on VHS and the other half is filmed on actual film. So you get this mixture of like really, really, really horrible quality film, and then suddenly okay quality, and then they never mic'd anybody, so you could hear barely anything anybody was saying.
It's kind of like our show.
it was one of those movies where I heard from a bunch of people, you like horrible movies? Check this out. And it's like, no, this is not watchable. Like, I can't hear what they're saying. It's so poorly edited and so poorly made that I couldn't get through it, the movie. And that's
saying a lot, because this film in particular was...
Hey, I watched it twice.
You did well.
It's not for everybody. I'll give you that. You have to like have an appreciation for like, and this isn't a diss to the guy that made it, but almost like appreciation for the art of the mentally ill.
Yes, you have to be able to turn your brain off.
That's a good description.
You have to appreciate something that's coming from a mind that's not exactly normal, and also not that skilled. Like, it's kind of like this rough, bizarro way. I don't know. It's cool. Like, it's like a lot of people like talk about The Room and Birdemic and, you know, all those kind of movies, and they're like, oh, that's so bad, it's so awful, that's why it's good. And to me, it's like, it's not really that it's awful that it's good, it's that it's coming from some point of view that is so skewed and bizarre, yet from such a genuine, creative perspective.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's like outsider art, right? Like, it's like an outsider art take on movies, and you kind of get this weird feeling from it that just kind of doesn't come from, you know, normal movies. It also makes other movies seem really fucking good.
I will say, we went
through this phase of watching really terrible garbage for quite a while. A few diamonds in the rough, like this one and this one called Pocket Ninjas. Highly recommend that one. Holy God.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
It's got that dude from, he was in a lot of horror movies in the 80s. I forget his name. He has a really giant jaw. He was in Maniac Cop. He's the Maniac Cop.
Okay. I know Maniac Cop.
Yeah, his Robert Zedar. Yeah, my wife's yelling it. Robert Zedar. Look that up. That guy's fucking crazy looking.
Tell her thank you.
Yeah. she's into this just as much as I am. But
I will say this: there is a scene in this movie where it involves a little bit of animal killing. That was pretty fucking brutal.
Oh, you mean the cat in the box?
What's
What
that?
did they kill?
The cat.
What?
When they slayed that pussy.
I don't remember that for some reason.
What?
Oh, when they smashed the cat.
Yeah, they smashed that pussy.
Yeah, I think you're sort of led to believe that it's the gardener, but
Speaking of which, what the fuck was up with that gardener?
That gardener looked like G.G. Allen before he like shaved his head.
He sounded like Sling Blade too.
Yeah, and I guess he came with the house, right?
Yeah, he came with
He saved somebody's life in Nam, and that's why he came with the house. But this guy, apparently he had a gimp arm because it was held up in a sling, but the sling was made of chains.
It was like wallet chains.
He looked like Charlie Kelly from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when he was pretending to be a disabled Vietnam vet.
Wow, that's very.
He actually looks like, if you look up G.G. Allen before like the iconic bald, G.G. Allen, like that's what he looked like. He dressed and looked like that. He looks like a fucking bum. Like he looks like a bum.
We thought he was a vagrant at first. We didn't think he was the gardener.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't look like a gardener. He didn't do any gardening, though.
No, he just walked around creepily with chainsaws and hoes.
And threatened people. Yeah, one of the first times you see him is because there's a girl, like, in this completely see-through white, just flowing outfit, and he walks towards her out of the bushes with hedge clippers. And of course, it's just so she can jump in the pool and we can see her fully naked, like through the clothes.
Yeah.
But then he walks off, and then she just goes like, "Oh, damn it," and just kind of walks off.
No, it was more like, it wasn't even down. It was like, shucks.
Yeah.
Just that old gardener.
Oh, this guy just jumped at me with with hedge clippers.
Not only that, but like the first time you see him, he's just like in a field, just walking. And
stumbling towards the house.
Right, I thought, he looked like a fucking zombie.
Oh, it's this type of movie. It's a zombie movie. Great.
And then there was the part in the film where they're talking about how creepy he is, and one girl suggests, "Oh, maybe we should, maybe he just needs a friend." And she goes out and tries to talk to him, and it's just this awkward, like, minute-long conversation that goes absolutely nowhere and then just ends completely abruptly.
Okay, we are completely overlooking a big giant part of this whole movie.
There's so much. There's almost nothing that went on in this movie, but there's so much that went on in this movie.
The flippant attitude they all had to the telekinetic powers that like they had, like the guy was in the bathtub and he moved a bar of soap, and she was like, "Oh, you can move a bar of soap." Well, fuck.
By the way, I totally thought something perverted was going to happen when he's doing that, because he's making that face and he's like wiggling his fingers and he's in the bath and there's bubbles. I figured like he was going to get shot in the eye or something. Like,
Jesus, Matt.
Dude, I told you, I was like, the second time I watched it, when I knew it was the couple that did it, I was porno mode the whole time. I was like, I can see how this could have easily transitioned into a porno. Oh, paper.
There was a subplot about a girl. Remember the girl that was like...
yeah, I have her name.
Molested her or raped her, and like the guy was coming back to get her because she ran...
Oh, yeah, the fiance.
It was, what was her name? It was like Mustache Tracy.
And it had nothing to do with anything.
No, and it was an actual rape scene. I don't know that it was an attempted. I think it was pretty much a rape scene.
It seemed like she got raped by her boyfriend or her fiance, and you find out like she was never introduced before this scene, or she may have walked in once.
But she had a full-on plot.
Right,
she was the only character that was developed in the whole film.
Out of nowhere, they just cut to this rich-looking asshole on a boat thinking, "Oh, I should have never hurt you, baby. I didn't mean to." And, "Oh, she ran away again. I guess I better call the PI. He was good the last time she ran away." And then there's this thinly, like, layered plot of this PI who shows up and pays these women to kick him out of a car in front of the house. And just say, "Hey, can I use your phone?" And then, boom, next second, he's topless by the pool. And the dude that owns the house didn't seem to give a single fuck. And then all the girls are like, "Oh, hey, look, man meat." But they were all just hanging out by the pool, and somehow none of them noticed him walk back there. And he didn't notice any of them already back there. That's what the fuck was happening in this movie.
And then one of them invites him upstairs where there's
the Asian one that never appeared before that part.
Never.
Where there's no men allowed, and they start, I think they actually have sex, right?
Right.
They have sex in like the shower or something.
In the bed, and then she's in the shower by herself, and then she gets up, leaves the bathroom, and the next thing you see is he's pulling up his pants next to the shower, and the tub is still full of water. But she wasn't in the tub to begin with.
Is where he dies. Like he drops his watch in the tub,
and then for some reason he can't pick it up.
And then for some reason,
somebody drops a hairdryer.
Well, yeah, somebody pushed the hairdryer into the bathtub. But first off,
how the fuck would he not have seen them? Like, they would have literally been 2 feet away from him.
No, it was ghost powers.
Oh.
Come on.
So wait, we're talking like some Game of Thrones shadow shit where they just... It's like a shadow creature.
Well, yeah, it's like the voodoo shit that was going on
But
in the movie.
then who was doing it? Was it like the house demon or was it somebody in the house? Because once they stole the tapes from him, they all knew how to do it.
Yeah, I that's the thing I'm talking about. I don't know, like, if it's the house that's haunted, if it's like a poltergeist kind of shit, or
I think it's both.
I don't fuck.
And then other stuff.
I don't fucking know, man, because it's just like, why? Why that scene? Why the watch and then the fucking hair dryer and he dies?
Every scene in here is a why that scene.
I'm pretty sure like the majority of everything was improvised. Like, what are we gonna do next? This might be fun.
You know, the one scene, speaking of improvised, that felt the most normal and legit and free flowing was the pie fight scene.
Yeah.
Looked like that looked almost
Like a fun
completely
outtake.
unscripted and just
I remember,
fun.
so I'm usually like hungry at that point in time. Like, I don't want to get up and get food because I know if I eat, then I'm just gonna stay up even later. And there's always fucking food in the movies that you're watching. I remember that part thinking, God, they just wasted... Like, I know that they weren't what they said they were, but this girl's like, oh, I'm really good at making pies. Here's my apple pie, and here's...
Oh, dude, you're totally right.
My banana
Like,
cream,
here's the
that's my
delicious
favorite.
fucking pies that she spent all this time on, and then they just destroy them.
Wait, but no, it was the demon that destroyed the first one because Victoria was sitting there and she was doing that little face twitch thing, and then that one pie just launched itself into her face.
Well, no, I don't know if you guys noticed, but you know, she was describing each of the pies, and it was like, oh, this one's lemon meringue, this one's apple, this one's cherry, and at some point they throw what's the cherry pie in somebody's face, and it's not a fucking cherry pie. I'm sorry, there was no fucking cherry in that pie.
All whipped cream
It was
pies.
all
Yeah,
whipped
just
cream,
whipped
basically.
cream in a little tin.
But-
That's all it was.
Can I share something with you guys?
Share, please.
That's my lifelong dream come. Like, I want that to happen to me. I've always wanted a pie smashed in my face.
Really?
Ever since I was a kid, and I would always be watching Double Dare and shit on Nickelodeon, I always wanted a cream pie smashed in my face. That sounded horrible.
I've got a little warning for you when it comes to that cream pie stuff.
What's that?
I was in a play in 5th grade where that happened, right? So a kid got the pie in the face with the tin, and after doing it multiple times, the tin actually got busted a bit, and when they pushed it in his face, it split his lip open like a razor blade.
Oh.
That was bad.
Okay, they're gonna have to use a glass plate then.
Be careful what you wish for.
I'll get him. I'll get it. I'll get him pied in the face, and then
Yeah.
I'll
just get a paper
Just
plate
put a
with some
razor
whipped
blade in
cream.
it.
a razor blade inside of it.
Just hit me in the face with a bat while you're at it, you fuck.
And then, dude, what the hell was with that scene where the main chick goes to the refrigerator at night, in the middle of the night?
Did you guys see the hand?
Yeah! The hand throwing, like, the yogurt and stuff at her.
Yeah.
So I think she was trying to use her newfound telekinetic powers to open the fridge, and I guess she's just stronger than she thought, or another one of the telekinetic people was fucking with her, and the fridge door flew open, and then I guess it was like, was it the Addams Family where they have the hand in or the Munsters where they have the hand in the fridge?
That's Addams Family.
Addams Family, and then it just you see this hand just throwing yogurt in her face. More porno.
More porno. Yeah, and then she goes, oh, you've never heard of the yogurt facial? And she's rubbing it into her face.
No shit.
What the
No, the guy's like, you're cleaning the fridge the hard way, I see.
God damn it, dude. This fucking movie.
See, but that's what I mean. Like, there's so much there.
Yeah, you know what? I've just crossed the line. I love this movie.
Right?
You can't not talk about a movie like this for this extended period of time and not be like, I'm
All
not.
right. I love it. This has happened to me multiple times on this show where I'll like a movie halfway through. I completely hate it after we talk about it, but I'm on the other side of the fence. I love it.
Mustache Cindy, that was her name.
I'm all in.
It's one of few like bad movies that I've watched from the 80s that automatically make it to my favorite bad movie shelf.
Okay,
Like-
can we go back to Mustache Cindy and
Let's go
Rapey
back.
Richard for a
Let's go.
second? 'Cause-
Rapey Richard.
So, Richard shows up and he's super pissed, and he wants Cindy to come back, and all the girls immediately are like, "Introduce us to your friend." And Richard is by far the best actor in the entire movie. He's like, "What is this? Some kind of harem?" shit. And he acts like that through the entire thing. He says he asked Cindy to marry him. Oh, then they go upstairs to talk. And Cindy's sitting there and there's a gun on the table.
What is this? Some kind of gun?
Yeah.
So he goes, what is this gun?
Yeah, why is there a fucking gun there?
Just for protection.
Yeah.
And then they argue and leave. And then housemate Jim, the guy that owns the house, he comes up, talks to her for 2 seconds. By the way, that time she was sleeping on the couch, she changed clothes. Her clothes went from like a red outfit to a white one.
Oh, good God.
There were shitloads of like wardrobe changes.
Oh,
like instantaneous wardrobe changes. Yeah. There must have been tons and tons of clothing around there.
Oh, I forgot the gun. She fell asleep on the couch and the gun tried to shoot her in the head and missed.
And she got up like it was like, whatever.
Yeah, and then Jim comes and consoles her for all of 12 seconds. And then they go to the beach and he hypnotizes her and they fuck. And then she goes and dies in the ocean.
How did she get all bloodied and...
Somebody was like using their mind bullets on her.
It was Darth Vader, dude.
I think it was Victoria, because that's when she kind of got all crazy and she stroked off that teddy bear dick.
Oh, that's right. That was so fucking weird.
So like right after that happened, Victoria's sleeping in bed and she wakes up and goes, bitch! And then grabs a teddy bear that's apparently a voodoo doll and she starts beating the shit out of it and then she strokes the arm that looks...
It looked very penisy.
Very phallic,
I said the same thing.
I was like, does that teddy bear have a heart on?
I said it to my wife and she's like, yep, that's a penis.
But she starts getting all crazy and I don't even know where this movie went.
Edmund, you already talked about the ending, didn't you?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah,
Well, yeah, the big conclusion is they have a party and like there's
they've been trying to have through the whole movie. They're constantly referencing tonight is the party. Days pass. And the band comes over in the beginning too for the party.
And then it turns into a complete orgy.
Yeah, then they leave. And then they come back again.
Yeah, the band leaves, and then all of a sudden it's the middle of the night, and that girl's vacuuming, and there's all the power outages.
And it was the loudest fucking vacuum I've ever heard in my life, dude. Things sounded like it had rocks in it. Holy shit.
And can we mention Joel?
I don't even know who Joel is.
Drunk Joel, the guy that has no fucking purpose in the entire movie, but he shows up 3 times.
Oh yeah, that guy is awesome.
I have a note on Joel. Yes.
The first time Joel's introduced is in the office after Sting is on his desk doing his tantric like fucking possession. And Joel comes in super drunk just talking about, hey, I got these contracts, but they got to be fixed. And apparently this deal is very big.
What his exact words were when he had those, they looked almost like schematics. I was like, what is blueprints? He goes, we got to revise the printouts. And I was like, what? The printouts of what? What are you talking about?
And they never talk about it, but there's 2 other scenes. There's a scene that completely comes out of nowhere where they're at a golf course and they're talking about, so the deal is done? Yeah, the deal is done. Yeah, but there was a pretty comical bit where Joel tries to take a swing and he just falls over like one of the 3 Stooges. And then Joel shows up at the party. He's like, hey, I got the contracts. But that's fucking it.
Yeah, you never know. You never know what even business he's really in. Like
what shady shit he's up to.
Yeah, what is he? What is his business, and why is his like right hand man perpetually drunk?
Drinking is his business, and business is good. Apparently, his right hand man is a client, and that's what I don't understand. Is because when he shows up, he's got the contracts in hand. He introduces Joel to one of the girls, and he's like, "Oh, this is a client of mine, Joel Weintraub." And then he's like, Joel, come.
Is that his last name?
Well, because I thought I thought the other guy that they were doing the contracts last name was Goldfart, but it's Goldfarp. So I paid close.
Man, sometimes your attention.
Look, I got 4 pages of notes on this fucking movie.
I
have 4 pages of handwritten notes on this movie. But so yeah, there's the party. A couple people die. Joel shows up and makes a joke into the bowl of pudding, and then all of a sudden, the girl that showed up late to moving in,
the foreigner.
Yeah, the foreigners showed up late to moving in, and you see right away she does that weird little hand gesture thing.
They're all Jedi. They're all Jedi mind tricks now.
So she's got the shine.
The shining.
she's got that shine.
Oh, you mean shining?
Yeah, that's shinning. You're gonna get sued. So you see,
that was a joke from you and I. That was a good joke. I like that.
You see, she's got it, and then at the end, she goes and hits on Victoria's agent and starts calling him daddy, and there's this weird like incest plot that starts going on because he's like, she says, remember the last time we played and mommy came up and found us in bed, and then she kills the agent, and then they start doing the breathing. We didn't even talk about the fucking breathing. The breathing is how they do all the telekinetic stuff, and it's like Lamaze Class. It's like I totally lost my train of thought.
I don't know.
Oh, the party. So, we were talking about the party. She starts getting really incestual with the agent, and
incestual.
Well, like she starts talking about.
That's a really weird word for you to pick. Is it her brother?
Well, no, because she starts talking about like, Daddy, remember you shouldn't pick, or you should pick me over mommy.
I see what you're saying. Okay, sorry.
Like she starts getting really creepy. Like she had this incestual relationship with her dad, but she's mistaking the agent for her dad, and then she tears his heart out, and that's when I guess Jim realizes she's like El Diablo, and he starts breathing at her after she starts breathing at him, like Edmund said. But then it had my favorite quote of the movie. He's like, "Oh, Debbie, no!" I like almost pissed myself laughing when I heard that.
Oh, the breathing. Yeah, well, going back to the very, very beginning, the breathing scene where they kill the nurse and the attending doctor at the... Holy shit, I was about to turn off the movie, dude. I was like, no way, this is terrible. But
that was a little creepy for a bit. Like, not when they were doing it, but after she hung herself and all you could hear was the breathing, I was like, oh, that's kind of creepy. But before, I was like, what the fuck is going... What is his jazz hands going on in the shadows?
Yeah, it's definitely jazz hands. You know what?
You hate this movie again?
No. I'm still in the I love it camp now. All of it, I'm still good. What were they thinking? Were they just trying to make a horror movie, and they were like, we're just gonna...
Well, see, like, in the interviews, I don't know if you'll be able to find them anywhere else, but
I have to.
Like, these alleged interviews.
It's kind of funny, like, they interview both of the wife and him together, and there's this kind of, like... There's this kind of bit of the guy where it seems like it was like he was trying for it to be a little more... Take it a little more serious than it was taken. Like, if somebody calls it a bad movie, I think he kind of like... Because his wife kind of refers to it as, oh yeah, if you like bad movies, then this will be a movie that you like. And he kind of like was like, like, hey.
He's like, hey, this was
our... We did a good job.
Sweat and tears.
So it's one of those things where kind of like The Room, where I think that they went in with the intent to make it much better than it was, when it actually was. And then once people started saying that it was horrible, and, but it's funny because it's horrible, then he kind of just was like, oh, well, okay. But he really kind of intended for it to be more of like a campy but semi-serious horror movie.
Maybe he was trying to make the telekinesis like an AIDS allegory.
He seemed really like the telekinesis part was like, in the interviews, it really seemed like he was exploring it himself in reality. And that was like a thing, like that he really believed in it, and he wanted to like enlighten other people on it.
So he was kind of like a new agey kind of guy in the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you think this was more of just like a pilot for his wife to get some kind of acting career? Because his wife was in the majority of the movie.
Was it filmed in L.A.? Was it filmed down there?
That I do not know.
Question. But our research knows no bounds on this show.
But because his wife was the lead singer of the band 33 and a Third, and she sang. There's a part of her performance that actually felt like a music video. It was just like this really close-up shot of her face, that looked like a 1983 music video. But then she's also the star of the movie, and
Gets to have sex with the director in
Yeah.
the shower.
and see, I swear, man, I was watching that and I was like, I wonder if they're really dicking down.
They
in
might
there.
have actually been having sex on that scene.
With how free everybody was with getting naked and just saying meh, they were probably all fucking on that movie.
I don't know.
I think it was a swinger party where they're like, hey guys, we have this script that might be fun if you're into role playing.
We're gonna roleplay real deep, guys.
Yeah.
Real deep. All right. Well, I think we've just about exhausted the. We've wrung everything out we can out of the movie. I think. Edmund, it was a pleasure having you on the show.
It was a pleasure to be here. I don't want to leave this podcast though. People thinking that I only watch bad horror movies.
No.
I have an extensive horror movie collection.
So what's your favorite horror movie? And what's your favorite genre of horror?
I do lean towards more campy stuff. Like Dead Alive is probably my favorite.
Great
That
movie.
movie's great.
So like that was always my go-to. And when I was little, I was lucky enough to see Evil Dead 2 when I was like 8,
Nice.
7 or 8.
Wait, how old are you, Edmund?
I'm just turned 34.
Oh.
Right
Okay, so you
around
got a
us.
couple years on us. I'm 31 and Matt's 30.
I'm still 31.
You're still 31. Okay, so there's
Dick.
a little bit of a blind spot for a couple years of movies. Okay, I kind of get where your sort of 80s influence came from. Gotcha.
Like yeah, I'm a overall like I feel like almost any movie made in the 80s is entertaining no matter what. Like you could watch the most wholesome like 80s campy summer camp movie and have a good time watching it.
Like Sleepaway Camp.
Like
Sleepaway Camp.
I love all the sleepaway camps. I actually had that like old special edition box set a while back. I had to sell
The medicine
I had to
kit,
sell-
I got that.
I had to sell my whole like almost my whole DVD collection to finish Meatball. I had to sell a lot of stuff to finish Meatball.
Oh, I bet you did. Jesus.
That was one of the ones I wasn't able to get back because it was completely out of print. I had that, and I had the guinea pig box set. That was
I
another-
have both of those.
Well, for any of you listeners, if you could find that box set for Edmund, let us know.
yeah.
So you mainly like the 80s films. Is there anything modern day that you're into at all?
Yeah. Let's see. Horror movie wise, I liked what was it? The Martyrs. That was a kind of recent one.
I think we're doing that actually in May with our good friend Danny, Amigo the Devil.
Yay!
Let's see. Like, what are some other really? I mean, I like the. I just watched a movie called The Tunnel.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
I haven't heard
It
of
was
that.
it was pretty good too. Okay, yeah. Like one of my favorite recent horror films is probably Record, the original version.
Yes.
Yes.
Like that's like when it goes like that's fucking scary, like scary, creepy horror.
Yeah.
Like that was the ending of that was nightmarish.
Did you watch Rec 2?
I did, yes.
What did you think of the sort of religious twist that they popped into that?
I didn't really think much about that aspect of it, but it was definitely one of the ones like that. Just like the logic of when the lights are off, there's something there, sort of situation, really fucked with me. That actually really creeped me out at night, which is rare. So I really liked it for that. But I mean, the first movie I think was much creepier.
Yeah. Well, and then you had the U.S. remake, of course, which was it was a pale remake by comparison. It was terrible, and it had what's her name from Dexter.
Yeah, I didn't even watch it.
Oh yeah.
It looked like
Jennifer
it was trying to be like as close to.
It was almost shot for shot. Like it's that bad. Like you're watching, you're like, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen.
There's no way you're gonna make that monster scarier.
No.
You talking about the mean girl?
Yeah.
Oh, and who's
Oh,
that?
the Dexter girl.
Yeah.
There's no way to make that monster scarier.
That poor thing.
See, I think part of it
This is my
too
wife.
was that you.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. Let's introduce your wife.
Danielle.
Yay! Hi.
Danielle watches all these movies with me as well.
We our wives deal with the most incredible stuff.
She's put through things.
Did you tell him what we were watching right now?
Nope, I did not.
We're watching the absolute worst thing in the world right now.
Oh, what's that?
What is his name? Dave The Rock Nelson.
Yep.
He makes... They're basically movies that, like, an 8-year-old would make. And he's very pleased with himself.
So there's a documentary called The Rock, something The Rock.
The Ed Wood of the
Ed Wood of the 21st century. It's just basically, is he from Philadelphia or where is he from?
Like Baltimore?
Baltimore. It's this guy who's he's like Asperger's-y, very like simple. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
He's manic, and he knows a lot about the thing that he knows about.
Okay.
Very obsessed with
the
like.
The documentary about him is super interesting. Like, him talking is great. And then afterward, Ed's like, well, let's watch in the special features. There's one of his movies. So painful.
I kind of love it though.
Yeah, he wouldn't turn it off.
It's so weirdly bad.
It's so if it's genuine, he like falls in love with it. The guy is genuinely likes what he's doing.
The guy's obsessed. Like, that's his life. His life is making movies, and he's like.
But there's like there's voiceovers if like the audio didn't for a lady that he's filming, the audio didn't work for her. It's just his voice.
Yeah, regular voice. He does her voice. As
This sounds like the most confusing thing I've ever heard of in my life.
And we just watched Boardinghouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
And his girlfriend, this is like steps beyond that. His girlfriend is in it, and she's also like kind of simple.
you got to watch the documentary. It's such a good documentary, and like the guy's just so interesting. You could listen to this guy obsessively talk about all the things he loves for days because he's just so entertaining. And his memory's obviously so good that like he can word for word everything.
In Vietnam, and he talks about like visiting prostitutes, so he's not like that retarded.
But he's really religious. And I don't know. Yeah, it's.
But the movies themselves are awful.
Oh
Yes.
no, yeah. Like it's a guy with a camcorder who is not all there. Like, and he wants
so
to make,
you're not talking about Boardinghouse still, are you?
No.
No, it's not even close.
I think we're talking about Zombie with a Shotgun now.
Zombie with a shotgun.
He's making stuff that like probably all of us did with our friends, like when we were in our early teens.
Okay. Wow.
Like improvise.
Say his name again for me.
David the Rock Nelson.
David the Rock? No, I've never
There's
heard
only
of this
one
guy.
The Rock.
Yeah, come on, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, he was a
the Rock
boxer in, like,
before
the
him.
70s.
Like, yeah,
Oh, really? Oh, well.
He should fight Dwayne Johnson and see who gets the name of The Rock.
who gets to take the name?
And then Sean Connery can be the special guest referee because he was in The Rock.
Okay, well,
That works.
all right, Edmund. Well, it like I said earlier, it was a pleasure having you. We'll leave you guys to your evening if we've gone not too long.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll be up for days.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'm sure you will. Well, and I'm hoping if in the near future, well, not necessarily near future, but if you want to come back on the show, we would love to have you again. We had a great time.
Yeah,
I could chat.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
What was that?
I was going to say you can go ahead and watch the special features on that Boardinghouse DVD, the extended cut, and let us know if it made any sense with the hour put back in it.
I'm gonna have to go and see if there's anything with that on there. There's a chance that stuff is just gone for good.
I liked seeing them together, though, their interview afterward.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I'll have to check that out. That's something I didn't see.
Yeah, she still looks really good. I mean, he looks pretty good, too, but...
Did he look good in '83?
No, he was in good shape. Come on, buddy.
Dude, and that guy was allergic to buttoning up his shirt too.
Yeah, that was a butterface to the max.
Like those guns were smoking, dude. He had to let him breathe.
There was so much man ass in that movie. I was okay. All right, Edmund. Well,
On that note,
On man ass.
man ass. You guys have a good night.
You too.
bye.
We'll catch you guys later.
See ya.
All right. Well, that was having Edmund on the show, everybody.
Yeah, that was pretty great. It wasn't as nerve-wracking as I thought it would be.
Well, you know, as things go, I think that went pretty well. As our first quote-unquote celebrity interview and guest host, that was great.
I'm sure Chad and Jeremy Gardner would be pretty upset to hear
Fuck,
you say that.
you're right. God damn it. Well, this is the biggest celebrity we've had on the show. Come on.
I'm not saying anything.
I'm saying it. Edmund, Thumbs
Oh,
up to you.
we found a way to mention the battery again.
Thumbs up to you, buddy. All right, guys. Well, we are ending the episode, our barely legal episode 18.
Yeah, stay tuned because now we're just gonna start doing dirty shit.
I know this is where we just get fucked up, and we're gonna start doing rails of coke.
Yep. Off of prostitutes' buttholes, in honor of Leonardo DiCaprio not winning the Best
Oh, I
Actor.
don't even want to talk about that. All right, everybody. Good night, and a who goes there to you?
Yeah, Matt signing off.
Jorge signing off. Good night.
I'm not gonna worry wrinkles in my brow. Nothing's ever gonna be alright, no how. No matter how I struggle and strive, I'll never get out of this world alive.
The Who Goes There theme is performed by Amigo the Devil. To hear more of his music, go to amigothedevil.com and check out the Who Goes There podcast on whogoestherepodcast.com, facebook.com/Who Goes There podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Who Goes There Pod and Instagram at Who Goes There Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes while you're at it. Leave a review. It really helps us out. Thank you.
Woo!
Finally, they got the damn ad right. Girls, girls, girls. If you're between 18 and 25, unattached and beautiful, then I want you to share my 10-bedroom house with me for approximately $100 a month. Call Jim at the Boardinghouse. Just imagine all those hot numbers hanging around the pool. Yeah. It's gonna be a real bachelor's paradise.